Hello, my friend. Welcome to live chat. If you are here watching on the replay, it is currently 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which is the modified time for live chat when I have something I have to do in the morning. Next week will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So, today in live chat, I thought we would take a little trip down a path that we've kind of touched on before. We've taken a little jaunt before, but I thought maybe we would go a little bit deeper into this topic, and it's kind of the thought behind how real someone can be on the internet, just in general. But I want to focus mostly on the influencer space, on people that have public platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, places like that, and how much we are able to show of our real selves compared to when these platforms launched, especially with YouTube back in 2005, 2006. It was a completely different platform. But I want to get into that in a minute, and why you can't necessarily be as real. You can't necessarily be yourself as much as you used to be able to. You can't really just relax ever. You can't. So, but I do want to get into that. I think it's a very interesting topic, and mostly the reason why I wanted to make this a live stream is because the people that are here live in the collective brain of Makeup Awesomeness are also going to be weighing in their thoughts on it, and that's the best part of live chat for me, is bouncing ideas back and forth off the people that are here live. But if you are watching this on the replay, you can absolutely participate in the conversation down in the comment section down below. But let me go ahead and say hello to them very, very quickly, romper room style. Hello, Teresa, and the rest of the moderators that are here. Thank you so, so much for being here. I am doing well today. I hope that you are doing well as well, my friend. Arrow Scorpion, it is so good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. It's so good to see you. Hello from Northwest Washington, everyone. I'm excited to not be late to chat. Hope your day is going well, Jen. Thank you, Kayla. Maybe you've been here recently, but I don't think I've actually clicked on your comment in a while. So welcome. Leslie from Thriving and Beyond is here. Happy Sunday evening. Hello, Helen. Good to see you. Hi, Angie. Welcome, Angie. Good evening to Jen of the Collective Brain of Makeup Awesomeness. Thriving and Beyond, Leslie says, I think this will be a fascinating topic, and maybe discussing if and how much people change due to their increasing influencer status. Yes. And I love the quotes on the word influencer. Yeah, I think that that's a really great direction to take it, and I think we should go there. Hopefully I remember to weave it that direction. And if I did not say good afternoon, good evening to you, good afternoon, good evening to you. Very quickly, those of you that were wondering about what's up in makeup today, I had an extremely busy week, and I had some dental stuff done that left me not feeling well. And it's been a week. And also I was looking through the news stories. The top news stories is what I feel like drives my desire to really want to put 100% into what's up in makeup. And the top news stories they were really boring. To be 100% with you, the most exciting thing was Tom Brady registering for a bunch of trademarks, including cosmetics. And when that is the top story in a makeup news show, you know you're in trouble. So we'll talk about Tom Brady next week. I'm sure it'll go into the news somewhere, but that was legit the most exciting thing. And it's like, I'm going to have to really kill myself to get this up. I'm going to have to really work really hard and stay up and all of that. And it's not even going to be a fabulous show. So I didn't push myself to do it. So I hope that you understand. I don't want to ever create content that I don't feel 100% like it's worth your time. And also I just had a week, so the combination knocked it out. The reason why it's a little bit late today is that my son had a volleyball game, and I want to wish his team congratulations on winning their volleyball tournament. They won the whole thing for their age group, and it was very, very exciting. They had a really rough start, had a lot of trouble winning games, and they just were like Cinderella team today. They came back and they just crushed it today. They did fantastic. So congratulations to them and their coach. It was fantastic. And as a sports, I've never been a sports mom until recently, and the amount of anxiety it gives you watching your kids play sports, I never knew that feeling until my kids started playing volleyball, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm like freaking out the whole time. If you're a sports parent, you probably know, or actually if you're a sports anything, you probably know, I'm just not usually a sports person. The last thing before we get into the topic I wanted to show you is we have two new members of my household that have joined us. Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, welcome to the family. And that's it. That's what I had to share with you. Okay, so let's talk about this, because if you may not know, but if you may know, I started my very first YouTube channel back in 2006. It was called GenLove37. It does still exist. It is not monetized. I think at my peak, I had about 3,500 subscribers, which was considered a moderate size YouTube channel. When I stopped uploading on that channel in 2009, it was considered like a mid-sized channel, a lower to mid-sized channel. And now I think there's about 2,800 people that are just lingering over there for some reason. I don't know. I haven't uploaded in probably 10 years over there. So when I started over there, it was all just people in their bedrooms, or in their house. There was no production. It was just, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just kind of making things up as we went. There were no genres. There was nothing. It was just people uploading. But one thing that happened, which I feel like led to current YouTube, was a channel that was called Lonely Girl. What was it? Lonely Girl something with some numbers. Do you remember her? Lonely Girl 17, maybe something like that. I can't remember. But Lonely Girl, everybody thought she was like us. Everybody thought that Lonely Girl was just like everybody else, just uploading in her bedroom. But the stories started getting weirder and weirder. And what we ended up learning, spoiler, long story short, is that she wasn't real. It was a script. It was probably her ad-libbing, but it was a production. People had decided that they were going to, create this character. I'm seeing if anybody's come up with the with her numbers. I forget what they were. But that was kind of our first hint that YouTube wasn't going to be YouTube for very long. YouTube meaning anybody can just be themselves on the internet. Yeah, Lonely Girl 15 or 16, something like that. I can't remember. Fast forward as we get further on, and as I learn more about what it's like to be a public person on the internet, you learn that you really can't just let go and let loose and be yourself. And that has been a very hard lesson for me, where I'm a lifelong learner. I'm somebody that always likes to ask questions, likes to wonder, likes to learn from other people. And I don't know everything about everything. So it's been a learning experience for me to not be able to learn and grow on the internet, to hold that back and learn and grow in private instead of publicly, has been a big lesson for me. Because you can't do that on the internet. And I have always been an extremely open person. So that's been a big adjustment for me, kind of holding parts of myself back, which I don't like to do. But when it comes down to it, all of us that upload to the internet and are, public YouTube people, we're all just people, and we don't know everything about everything. So we have to be really careful about what we say and what we don't say. It's a whole nother world, and I think it takes away the beauty of what YouTube always was in the beginning, or at least what I feel like the heart behind YouTube was, which was just anybody going on and just being themselves. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I find the topic interesting, and I feel like the people that are able to balance that the best, that are able to be themselves the most and be likable, and also hold back maybe parts of themselves as they're learning and growing, those are the channels that I feel like are the most successful. And it's interesting to watch the choices that people make. And I've seen people go on YouTube with complete fake personas. They're people that I talk to behind the scenes that are very different than they are on their YouTube channels, because they don't feel like they can truly be themselves, which I think is really sad, because they are lovely people, but they see a huge risk in just being themselves completely. So they have to put on like a persona, and it's really sad. I wish it didn't have to be like that. So Cherie says, that's what keeps me from starting a channel, even though my family's pushing for me to have something to have agency over. Chronic illness has left me inside for the most part. Yeah. And I think that there is a way to be yourself, but it's just, okay, so this is the analogy that I've used. I've talked to Audra about this before, and I think I've talked to my husband about it too, is that as you're navigating the internet, I feel like I learned this when this actually happened to me in real life. So I'm driving down the road and I see this pothole, and I've driven over potholes a million times. And I just went over the pothole. Didn't realize how deep it was, blew out my tire. It was a mess. This was, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And I kind of took that as an analogy for being a public person on the internet, is that you see these things that are potential potholes that could blow your tire out. And you have the choice to either just go ahead and say how you feel about a situation and be yourself and say the things, or you have the choice to swerve around the pothole and say, you know what, I'm not going there on a public platform. I don't have enough knowledge, or I don't have a solid enough thought in my head to express myself in this way, or it's just too sticky of a topic that's going to be too polarizing. And there are people that dodge around more potholes than other people. And I've always been one to just gun it over the pothole, and that hasn't always served me well. So I've learned to swerve a lot more than I used to. But sometimes I do still go over the pothole. Sometimes I still do, like when it comes to LGBTQ plus support and things like that, where I know some people aren't going to get it. It's an important enough issue for me. It's not even really an issue, but it can be a polarizing topic depending on where you live. But it's important to me to stand up for LGBTQ plus rights, having LGBTQ plus children. So, that's a pothole I'm willing to drive over. And I feel like I have enough knowledge in order to speak very surface level on those issues and at least show support. So I can see why Charisse would be hesitant to start a YouTube channel, because it can be devastating if you make a mistake and realize you made a mistake, and now you have, hurt your reputation in some way because you've made a public mistake. Because you didn't think things well, since when I haven't thought things through all the way and gunned it over the pothole and was like, well, that was stupid. Hi, Max. Max says, do you think influencers have to be role models even though they say they don't want to be? I think that we as adults need to be very selective who we set up as role models, because I feel like human beings are all flawed. Celebrities, politicians, we're all just people. So I don't think anybody should really be set up to be a full role model ever. I think that we need to as adults realize that. And I think we need to teach our children that even the people that we look up to are still human beings that are flawed and that can make mistakes. So I'm kind of anti-role model just in general. It's not, there are definitely people that I look up to in my life. There's so many people that I'm like, oh my gosh, like they are incredible. They're doing things that I aspire to do, but I also try to keep in a reality check that this is a human being that could also make mistakes. So hopefully that answered your question. Scorpion says, I'm a lifelong learner. It's hard enough to share while going through a growing time without being online. It's hard enough to be human, let alone under a microscope. Absolutely. It is difficult. And we're all going through something. Everybody's going through something. Yeah, Thriving Beyond says, Leslie says, when the hobby became a viable full-time job, when brands began taking notice, then involving money, things have had to have changed. It's such a big business now, creating some of these issues. And I think this is why I wanted to do this live, because I think Leslie makes an excellent point. Because you went from being people to being brands, from being just someone that uploads for fun to, in 2009, they started monetizing some channels. And I think it was by end of 2009, maybe early 2010, that everybody could apply to be a YouTube partner, and there was no minimum. Like anybody could do it. Anybody could earn 10 cents, 15 cents, 30 cents on a video. And then once you made it up to $100, you would get your payout. So now of course there's a minimum there's thresholds you have to reach in order to be even in the partner program. But it is such a big business now. And when you have an influencer tied to a brand, so like I'm thinking, because I just did that Glamlight video last week, Glamlight and Michaela, that Glamlight did the palette with Michaela, who's really, really big over on TikTok, that if Glamlight makes a mistake publicly, or if Michaela makes a mistake publicly, it reflects on both of them. They're like forever linked, especially while the palette is still available. So that big money really can impact the social sphere, in that influencers and brands have to be even more careful to not gun it over a pothole, because you're not just dealing with your own tire, you're dealing with the tire and the well-being of other cars as well. You're dealing with the well-being of all the brands that you've ever worked with, that they're now associated with you, you know? So that's a whole nother aspect of it. Elizabeth says it's probably very difficult when some forms are hypercritical of every little thing influencers do. And I think that, everybody has a right to sound off about things that annoy them and all of that. But I feel like with anything that has a following, whether it's a reality TV show or influencers or a movie or whatever, people are going to have opinions. I don't know. I mean, I think some of the criticism is valid. And I think sometimes it's the whole, what's the term? What's the term for it? Oh, it's itch eating crackers. It's witch eating crackers, but with a B. Where you're just like sitting back and like, oh my gosh, she has a hair out of place. Oh my gosh, like, her nose has a freckle on it. Why doesn't she cover that? You know what I mean? Like, it gets to that point, I think, sometimes with influencers, where it gets kind of ridiculous. Especially when there's things that are like real legit things where people could be critical. And it's definitely, live streaming, I think, is one of the most terrifying things to do, because when you say something in a live stream, it's over, it's done, like it's out there. You can't take it back. Like, that's it. There's no editing. Like, it's just the thing. It's just out there. So it can be, in that situation, I live stream every single week, but it can be a little stressful sometimes. Like, what do I say? How do I say it? Because you may not realize it's a pothole until you're already on the other side of it with a messed up tire, right? Ty Taylor. Taylor says, I'm totally the same in my videos as I am in person, maybe more ADD in real life, but that's it. Yeah. And I have the same trouble in that I don't know how to not be me. When I was younger, I had a lot of self-esteem issues, especially like 8th grade, 9th grade. I really fought after 8th grade to figure out who I was. 8th grade was a really tough year for me. So through high school, I feel like I finally found myself and who I was when I was about 22. It took a while to get there. And even then, I'm constantly learning new things about myself and who I am. But I didn't become really self-assured until right before I met John, which I was 24 when I met John. I was probably 23 when I really kind of came into my own and was like, I like me. I like who I am. It took a long, long time. So that's why I think it's really funny when people say that I'm full of myself, because that's something that comes up a lot when people come to my channel and really don't like me. That's the big comment, is that I'm full of myself, which in a way, I've thought about this recently as kind of a compliment, because I've had so many issues with self-esteem throughout the years, that the fact that someone thinks I'm so confident that I'm full of myself, it's like, wow, I've come a long way, because of course I'm not. But that somebody would think that, like, I've come a long way, baby. I've come a long way. But yeah, I do feel like I'm the same person I am in real life, but I do have to monitor what I say and how I say it, which is also something that gets critiqued, is that, people say that I'm being too PC, or I'm being too, picky with my words, and why don't I just say what I mean? And it's like, dude, like, I kind of have to be Like because number one, I want to be respectful of people because that is so important to me to be respectful. So I am going to be choosy with my words because I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want anybody to feel upset because of something that I said. So of course I'm going to be careful what I say. And you just like, it's just not good to just not care. In my opinion, like I can't be that person. I can't be that person. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly says, I don't think you can be too real because people can be creepy and scary, but there are certain people that keep their audience connected. Yes, absolutely. And people can be creepy and scary. Someone sent to me over on a thread somewhere that I won't mention. Someone sent to me on Twitter a screenshot where someone had posted the information about my house, how much my house was worth, relatively where my house was located. It was creepy. I had to contact the administrators for that page and say, hey, this is really creepy. This is not public information. Can you please take it down? And their response to me was, we'll take down the thing about your house, but we're not taking down the post. And it's like, I never asked you to take down the post. I asked you to take down the private information about my house. Like, people are creepy. Like, why are you posting information about somebody's house? Like, ew, you are so gross. And I'm so thankful to the person that sent me the message on Twitter about it because I wouldn't have known about it if they hadn't screenshot. They're like, dude, somebody is like talking, like, is this real? Like, is somebody's talking about your house? Ooh. People are creepy, man. People are super creepy. Sandra says, I can't even bring myself to make a public Instagram, let alone YouTube. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think that it's just part of my personality to want to be very open and be out there. And I've always liked, camera things and acting and all of that stuff. I've done that stuff since I was very young. So I just kind of went into it, but I didn't realize when I got into this, like, how things would go in the influencer space. I don't think a lot of us realized like how it would go, All right, I should probably scroll all the way down because I think I'm way behind and I want to hear what you all have to say. Oh, it's Nikki Murphy. Hi, Nikki Murphy. How are you? I haven't seen Nikki Murphy forever. Hi, I hope you're doing okay. Nikki says it's so stressful too because no matter what you do, at some point you'll be a hypocrite, which is natural point of view. Change with growing older, but viewers can have a hard time understanding. I think so too. I think that it's, you're absolutely right, Nikki. I think that, we sometimes, we'll be on a path and we'll make a choice, and be a certain way. And then we realize that that's not the direction we want to go in. We want to go in a different direction. And it's like, wait a minute, I thought you did this, but now you're doing this. You're such a hypocrite. And it's like, well, I'm actually learning and changing and growing as a human being. So like, can you like allow me to do that without being mean? Because I'm like trying to be a better person, You're totally right. Nikki, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Liz says, I have lots of self-esteem issues, so I'm constantly questioning myself and wondering how much I want to share with people. I want to be a mental health advocate on my channel, but at what cost? Yeah, absolutely. And our mental health journey is different than other people's mental health journey. So even if you have, like with me and my ADHD, like I have my journey with ADHD, but that doesn't mean that my journey applies to other people's journeys. I can share, my own perspective, but it's like, what I have to share, is that going to be helpful to other people? Or is it that's just part of my journey and it's not applicable to other people? Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, I had a comment not too long ago and it stated, I used to love watching your videos, but you really let yourself go. What? That's terrible. What is wrong with people? I felt sad. Life happens, sometimes our own sex can be very mean. I think you're absolutely right. That's awful. What a horrible person. Just know that's an issue with them. That is not you. That's an issue with them. And that's another thing I've kind of had to realize is that when somebody, it feels like they're like, it's not a criticism thing. It's not somebody trying to help me learn and grow. It's somebody that is purposely trying to be mean in order to hurt me. To understand, you have to be at a certain place in your life to be that cruel to another human being. There's something going on there that has nothing to do with me when you're going online and being that cruel. Like, I'm not talking about like constructive feedback, or I'm upset with something that you did, or whatever. Like, that's a whole nother thing. But when somebody's being purposely mean, like, that's an issue that they have that they need to deal with. Like, that's messed up. Ugh, that's gross. I'm so sorry. This is a great question. Hi, Jenny. Jenny says, what makes you trust influencers? What are some things you look for? For me, I feel like when I watch somebody, I want to, and I'd love to know people watching, people that are here live, people on the replay, what you all think as far as what makes you trust influencers. I think for me, I like when I'm seeing someone do a review and they seem to like the same things that I like and dislike the same things that I like. Because it seems like we're probably on the same page. Maybe we have, the same skin type or whatever, or hair type, or, whatever it is, or the same way of doing makeup. So that helps me to trust what they're saying and relate to that. And also when what they're doing on camera matches the words coming out of their mouths. So like when they're putting something on and it looks amazing and they say it looks amazing, or when they're putting something on and it looks like complete crap and they say it looks like complete crap, it's like we can tell. Like we know what's happening here. Like don't tell me it looks amazing when it's clearly not going on your face correctly. So those are some things. And then just really resonating with who they seem to be as a person. And I try really hard when I'm talking about people that are on the internet, it's who they present themselves to be on the internet. Even people that I know that I probably wouldn't vibe with in real life, and if we were in a room and hanging out, we probably would not get along well. I try to say it's based on the person they present themselves to be online, because there's so much that happens off camera that you just can't show, no matter how much you want to show who you are. It's hard to show everything, all the little quirkiness of who a person is. And you kind of know, if you've ever had roommates that you knew as friends before and they became your roommates, or, a spouse or whatever that you knew before, and then all of a sudden you're living together, you learn a lot more about that person. That's kind of the way I feel about, people that you meet on the internet, is you only can know so much when you only have so much ability to get to know them through their content. Makeup or breakup blog. Interesting take on viewers. Should viewers be understanding or flexible? I think viewers should be whatever they want to be. I'm a big person for freedom. If they don't want to be understanding or flexible, viewers should. If I don't want to be understanding or flexible as a viewer, then I won't be. If you don't want to be, you shouldn't be either. I think that people need to make whatever choice feels right for them. And I think that if you see an influencer has changed in a way that doesn't really resonate with you anymore, absolutely be not flexible. Like, you have a choice. We have this amount of time in our day to spend to do things that are relaxing, things we want to do. And for a lot of us, watching YouTube is one of those things that we put into our time. And, the fact that you're here, either live or on the replay, and choosing to watch this, that's a huge compliment, because you think about all of the things you could be choosing to do. So if you realize that this person that you're watching is not someone you vibe with anymore, you should not be interacting or feeling obligated in any way to stay with that person, because you have other things to do. There's so many other things you could be learning and growing and, watching and enjoying, even if it's just like trash TV. Like I've been binge watching Love is Blind season 2, and it is the trash TV. Like, I don't watch a lot of trash TV, but I will watch that show. I'm on the weddings one. I'm on the last episode before I heard that, don't tell me any spoilers, but I heard that the reunion episode is fire. that it is something else, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm like halfway through. We'll see. But anyway, my point is that I choose to spend my time watching that, where my husband would never. And that's why I watch it by myself, because he wouldn't waste his time. It's not something he likes. So I just give him, oh, this is what happened. And I tell him a little bit on the side, even though I'm sure he does not care. He listens to me patiently. All right, we are 30 minutes in. So let me tell you very quickly what is on my face. And then I'm going to scroll down and see what you all are saying. Okay, so most of the stuff that I have on my face today is from Ipsy. So this, what I learned, okay, a couple weeks ago in live chat, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be on Ipsy PR anymore because they said I haven't been tagging them. So I don't know if this is even going to be a thing anymore. I think they might be taking me off temporarily and they might put me back on. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Ipsy, but I do want to show you what I've been wearing. So that what I'm wearing on my face today, this is the first time I've used these products. So this is Defiance Palette by Carmella Cosmetics. And this shade is the main shade that's all over my lid. And then I use this shade in my crease. And that's all that's on my eyes. And I will say it does feel like a very inexpensive formula. It feels very cheap to use. I don't know the price point on this, but the texture is not fabulous. But that being said, my eye look looks really freaking good. So, in my opinion, I like the way it looks. But I really had to like dig into this to get it to show up on my fingertip. Let me just swatch the two shades that I have on. And it's just, how you can just tell? It just doesn't feel great. But at the same time, did I have trouble with it on my eyes? No, I didn't. So even if it feels like the cheaper formulas that I've tried a million times, I'm not going to complain so far. I've only used the two shades though, so I will keep you posted. Also on my eyes, I use the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. I remember Kristen Game, if you remember her from, I think she still does Game Time, but she doesn't really do beauty content anymore. She's the one that recommended this when this first came out, and I tried it and I wasn't the biggest fan because it gave me so much length but not a lot of volume. And I remember telling Kristen because I did get to meet her once, that it didn't quite work for me. No, that's not what happened. I saw her and she was wearing it and it looked incredible. And I tried it and I ended up not really liking it. But I will tell you that today I liked it a lot better than I remembered liking it before. And I know so many people love this mascara. I also have on my cheeks, this is the Ciate Dewy Highlighter. It's a gloss. I'm going to swatch it for you. That's okay, babe. All right, let me swatch it here because I have so much glitter everywhere. So it is extremely sheer and it just gives a little bit of glow. So I don't know how this would work on lots of people. I'm not wearing any foundation. I'm wearing a little bit of concealer under my eyes, but no foundation, just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening there. I have glitter all over my hands. Maybe grab a paper towel, Jen, and get rid of that. But so far, so good on it. I think it looks really pretty. But there really isn't a whole lot to it. So you just have to decide whether you dig on that. Yeah, it smells like creamy fruitiness. Smells good. And then on my lips, I'm wearing, this is also from Ipsy. This is the Kinship Super Melt Vegan Lip Jelly Mask. And it feels really good. Now that I've been talking a lot, it feels like it's kind of coming off, but I'll put on a little bit more just so that I can really feel it. But it doesn't feel super heavy for a lip mask. It just feels like a really nice, like occlusive lip balm. Feels good. I also wanted to tell you my eyeliner. I've been avoiding this eyeliner. This is the Jason Wu eyeliner that I bought forever ago because I don't like these kinds of brushes, but I really like the way my eyeliner looks today. So I might be using this more. I think I'm just scared because I'm so used to the pen marker ones, the brush tip ones, and they work so easily for me that I'm like scared to go back to this, but it worked really well today. So, and this was purchased. So this is the only thing that was not from Ipsy. And I will tag #GiftedByIpsy so that they know that I'm sharing it with you at no cost to them. All right. So that is what's happening on my face. Let's go ahead and keep talking. All right. Mrs. H says, I'm cleaning while watching, listening to you. I recommend that wholeheartedly because most of the time I'm not showing you anything. This is what live chat is a great thing to listen to as a podcast. Hi, Steph. Steph's one of our moderators. Thanks for being here, Steph. I appreciate you. I lost where I was. There she is. All right, Max, bring it on. Well, where is that line drawn when someone is raving about something you hate? Where does a different opinion turn into dishonesty? It takes a lot for me to go from it to dishonesty. It takes me a lot. If I see somebody recommending something and they say it's really great and I don't like it, I'll trust it for a while. But if it's a lot, if it's often, I usually won't go the dishonesty route. Usually I'll go the we just have different tastes route. I try not to accuse people of dishonesty unless it's pretty obvious. So, like when I'm watching someone put something on that I know is something that was sent to them, sponsored or whatever, and it looks like complete crap, and they're raving about how amazing it looks, like that to me screams dishonesty. But if it's just a difference of opinion, like there are people that watch my channel that totally disagree with me on, how much let's just say like NYX glitter glue. Like I really like this stuff. Not everybody does. But I wouldn't want someone to say, well, you're lying because I don't like that product and it doesn't perform as well. So you're lying. Like that would be awful. So I don't like to do that to other people either, is the end game on that. So I don't really, unless it's pretty obvious, I don't usually go the dishonesty route in my mind as a viewer. Oh, thank you, Pip. Pip says, if you're having doubts about sharing your ADHD journey, I just want to mention that last year I discovered I may have ADHD, and you talking about RSD helped me a lot. Oh, I'm so glad. And the thing is, I wouldn't have known about rejection sensitive dysphoria if I hadn't talked about it on Twitter. So I think opening up about personal things sometimes can be helpful to me, because if I hadn't shared, it's like a chain of events too, like because it's affected you, because I shared on Twitter about me having ADHD and I talked about it on my channel, and someone saw me going through something and they sent me a DM and they said, have you ever heard of rejection sensitive dysphoria? And they sent me this article and I started crying because it was so me. It was so me. And I don't want to go too deep into what that is and everything. You can just Google it and it'll come up. And I don't want to get it wrong either, but I'm so glad that helped you, because I think that's what a lot of us are here to do. I would say most people that I know in the space, everybody that I know in the space, our goal is to help people. We really want to give you information so that you can get something out of it. So that really makes me happy. Thank you for sharing that, Pip. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Everybody's talking about Love is Blind where I'm at in the chat. Emily Noel loves that mascara. Nice. Nice. And Emily and Kristen were really good friends. I don't know if they still are or not. Lisa wanted to know if Marlena is going to be leaving the beauty completely or something else in the works. Marlena, from my knowledge, is not going away from her channel. That's what I know. I haven't talked to her recently since she put up that Makeup Geek was closing. Or did I talk to her? I have to look at my text messages. We might have had a very short conversation. I think it was a very short conversation. Yes. Yes, it was a very short conversation, but to my knowledge, she's still going to be doing beauty. But I honestly don't know what her new ventures are that she's getting into. I figured if she would want, like, I don't ask those kinds of questions because I don't want people to like think I'm like probing into their private lives. So I don't know 100%, but I do know that she said she is going to still be uploading on her YouTube channel. Oh, that's so nice. Michelle says, I've fallen asleep to old live chats. It can be soothing. You know what's so funny is in my analytics, it shows me what playlists my videos are on. And one of the most popular playlists for my videos is one called Sleep. And I love that so much that people use my videos for sleep. Like, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. That's fine with me. This is interesting. Mallory says, as a viewer, if I disagree with someone's take on products, I will most likely just stop watching. Don't think about it that deep to call them a liar. Yeah, totally. And I really feel like a lot of it is just a difference of opinion, especially with things like mascara. Because I feel like with mascara, your eyelashes, like how many you have and how long they are, significantly impacts how much you're going to like the mascara or not. Because there are people that have naturally long lashes, wear glasses, don't want their lashes hitting their glasses. We're not going to agree on a good mascara, me and that person. We're just not, because I have stubby lashes and not that many of them. So, and I think like if you have dry skin versus oily skin, you're going to like different foundations, different primers, things like that. But I have had people call me a liar before for having like an actual legitimate, like it was like a try, like I tried the products. I try not to tell you like that I really like something unless I've tried it a lot. And if I haven't tried it a lot, I try to tell you that too. So, like, it's very disheartening to, like, have someone say, "Well, you're lying because I don't like that product," and it's like, "I'm really not, I'm sorry, it's just my experience." But, I mean, people have a right to feel however they wanna feel. Leslie says that is one of the greatest benefits of social media, true, honest, looking out for the best for others. And I am a very strong believer in the 80-20 rule as far as I saw it in the classroom. I've seen it on social media where 80% of people are fabulous. They have good intentions and they're trying really hard to just be good people and just trying to live their lives. And then 20% of people are going to be buttheads. And when I was in the classroom, if one of the 20% kids that was always being disruptive, I mean, they're kids, you can't blame them, they're kids. But if like one of the kids that was constantly just being disruptive, if they were absent, someone would take their place. There'd be somebody that didn't normally act out that would act out. In a class of 20, I would have four kids that would just be always, there'd be four kids always. They were just having a day that day. So, I mean, I do feel like the vast majority of people, and like when I go to events, when I've gone to, like, I talk about going to Ipsy events all the time. If you ever get a chance to go to an Ipsy event, they're fabulous. I'm going to be 100% with you. They're wonderful. I've gone to so many of them. When you go as a creator, it's different than when you go as a ticket holder, but they're still fabulous. And I would say a good solid 80 to 90% of people I've met have been absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful people, like, just trying to just do their thing, you know? Yeah, Angie says makeup is suggestive and personal. We've all got different issues, concerns, and styles. I watch for ideas, new items that I think that may or may not work for me for decompression for the day. Absolutely. And I think that you're definitely not alone at all in that. 100%. Um, and I think that when people do demos, I think it's really helpful. And I think that's why I really want to make sure when I did the glam light video this week, even though I'm not a makeup artist, but I feel like seeing how the products go on the face is really important to understanding how they work. And even if, you know, techniques are slightly different, you get such a better idea of how a product performs if you see someone actually applying it. Hi, Audra. All the moderators in the house today. I tend to like most of what I purchase, but I'm also not buying stuff I'm not interested in. Very rarely do I buy products for my channel. It's for me, and I'm sharing it with you. See, that's so different than me. That's so different than me. I pretty much only buy products for the channel. Well, I buy it for me too, but I buy it something that I'm interested in, but I try really hard not to buy anything that is not going to be used on the channel, like makeup wise and skincare wise, because it's like I end up with too many things because there's too many things that I want. And then I end up wasting money because I only have one face. I can only use products so fast. By the way, I realized on the Glam Light video, speaking of only having one face, I've been doing giveaways on my Friday videos. The one on the Glam Light video is still open, but I forgot to put the giveaway directions underneath the video. So I haven't gotten as many entries. So just a heads up that if you want to enter one of the giveaways, the one on the Glam Light video is probably the one you want to enter because it has like a quarter of the number of entries that are typically on it. So there's much better chance of winning. I mean, there's only one winner, but you know, all of what I pick the winner 3 days after the video goes live, and you can tell the winner's been picked because if you go to the video description, it'll tell you the name of the person and the mystery word will be revealed. So yes, it's all the information is underneath is in the Glam Light video now. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, and I did a video talking about that I want to get. It was like something like I want to give you free stuff. If you want to know all the details about that. So, but yeah, I mean, this is interesting. Leah says, how do I choose between YouTubers? Well, are they as honest and genuine as Jen? You're the measuring rod girl. Oh my gosh. Well, I take that as a huge compliment. I try very hard because I try to treat people the way I would want to be treated. And I would be really pissed off if someone recommended something without trying it and said that it was amazing and they didn't fully try it. And then I got it and it sucked. It would make me really mad. So I try to not give you misleading information in any way so that you can make good purchasing decisions, because we need to be very selective on how we spend our money, especially when we're putting $100 in our gas tank when we fill up, you know? So this is, I think Pam's opinion is a lot of people's opinion. I watch as many reviews as I can before purchasing. Also, I bought some of the new Milani lipsticks based on your recommendation. I love them. Oh, I'm so glad you like them. That's wonderful. But back to the influencers being able to share things. I feel like it's you know, it's important for people to, when you get into a public space, knowing that what you share is going to be on the internet forever. And that can be a really scary thing. So just being really, I wish we didn't have to be so careful. I wish we could just be like, you know, and truly and 100% show 100% of all of our thought processes and all of that. But unfortunately, you just can't, especially I feel like I've seen people with smaller platforms say things that I think are extremely questionable, where I'm like if I said something like that, oh my gosh, like, like, I mean, it would be bad. It would be very bad. And I wouldn't say something like it because it was something that I didn't agree with, but it was such a, like, I remember this one particular influencer, I think they have maybe 2,000 followers, something like that on YouTube. And they said something and I was like, oh my gosh, they got zero backlash, like zero. So that's one thing I want to caution people that are growing their online platforms is just know that just because you went over the pothole when you had less follow, if your following starts to grow, expect those potholes to get a little deeper. You won't be able to learn and grow as much publicly as you once did, because it gets overwhelming unless you're okay with the backlash, unless you're okay with it. For me, for my mental health, I'm not okay with it. I go very dark when things like that happen. I can't handle it, which is why I pulled back from a lot of the more drama-y kind of content that I was making, because number one, I didn't like the way that it was kind of changing my thought process, because I was thinking more like a drama channel instead of thinking like a news channel. And that was because that's more profitable to be a drama channel than it is to be a news channel. I was getting a lot of positive reinforcement for being a little more drama-y. So I started going that direction. And then I realized that if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And I was like, I cannot take the heat. I'm getting out of the kitchen. I was like, this is not for me. I cannot do this. This is nope. So I've pulled back a lot from that. And I think that's something that I just needed to learn on my own, even if people would have told me. I think it was something, sometimes you just have to learn lessons on your own and realize that, whether you can handle certain things or not. So that's kind of where I'm at now, where I do touch on different things like the Rare Beauty lawsuit and, different things that are kind of drama-y, but I feel like I really needed to pull myself back from that ledge because it just wasn't a good path to go on as a human for me personally. And it wasn't making me a good person. You know what I mean? It wasn't making me be better. It was just making me more money. And I didn't like that because that's not me. That's not who I am. So that was a journey. That's been a journey. My dog's over there snoring. Can you hear her? I'm not sure if you could hear her or not. Gracie says, I'm all for influencers sharing life events, arrangements, pregnancies, etc. But the announcement is sponsored? No, sir, not today. That's an interesting perspective. I've never really thought about that. That the announcement being sponsored would be a bad thing. Like, I would love to know more about that. Like, why is that bad? I mean, I'm not announcing anything. But why is that bad? I don't get it. I'm learning publicly now, which is a pothole, to not understand why that's a bad thing. To sponsor that. I need to know more about that, Gracie. I don't get it. Why you don't like that? Why is that bad? I don't know. I'm assuming that other people will agree with you, though. June says, have you ever had to edit a video because you thought it would offend someone? I think I have edited videos where I rewatched it and I listened to my wording and was like, that could be misinterpreted. That is not what I was trying to say. Where I've realized that the way that I said it was not the way that I meant it, and I did edit it out. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not that's not what I'm in the business of doing. I'm not in the business of being loud and wrong. I don't want to do that anymore. I've done it before. I don't want to do it again. I'm done. At least I'm trying to be done, but I never am wrong on purpose. I don't think anybody's ever wrong on purpose. So yeah, I am a lot more careful than I used to be because I cannot emotionally take offending people. And I can't emotionally take that I offended someone. It hurts me when I hurt other people. When I've offended someone, it bothers me for a very long time. Things circle in my brain for literal years. Like, for example, Audra knows the story. So, Audra, I'm going to tell the biscotti story. I don't think I've told the biscotti story in chat. I may have, but I think it's been a while. So when I was in college, this is something that still circles in my head to this day. I was in college, brand new, Towson University. I walk in, I get a coffee, and I want a biscotti with my coffee. So they have these plastic bins that have the biscottis laying in. And I went to reach in to grab the biscotti, and the lady behind the counter yelled at me. She's like, use the tongs. What are you doing? Why would you even put your hand? She yelled at me. I still think about how much I upset the biscotti lady. And it still bothers me that I upset her because she was clearly upset and annoyed. And it still bothers me that I upset her. She, I'm sure, got over it 5 minutes later. I still think about this 20 years later. Weird, right? So if I know I offended somebody, I will think about it for literal years. So I try really hard not to. And that's me protecting my mental health and also trying to protect other people from having a negative experience because maybe it'll circle for them too. And I don't want that to happen, Yeah, Jennifer. Jennifer says the internet is forever and people have an odd amount of pleasure looking it up. Well, that's true. That's a good point too.
Real quick.
Yes.
There's some confusion about when they send the giveaway email, where to put the
Yes.
mystery word and how to do it. Is it in the
Okay.
body? Is it in the
Okay.
title?
So for the giveaway, John said there's some confusion about how to enter the giveaway. It as long it's genlovegiveaway@gmail.com is the email address, and you just need to put it somewhere in there. It's helpful for me if it's the title of it or if it's early in the body, but even if you put it later, I will find it. Like this one person, they wrote me like a paragraph using the word multiple times throughout the paragraph. I marked it as spam because I thought it was about something completely different. And I was like, what in the world is this? But then when I went and reread it, I realized that they were using the word multiple times as a joke. So then I put it in the entry. So it really doesn't matter where you put it. If I end up breaking up like the video, like I did when I broke it up into 3 pieces, if you send in 3 different emails, it's 3 different entries. If you send it in one, it's 1 entry. Because the way that I have it, what I do is I put them all in a folder for that particular giveaway and I see how many there are. And then I do random number generator. And then I go into my email and I pick whichever one was the number in the random number generator. So that I'm not just picking my favorite people, because some of my favorite people enter and I don't think that that's fair to just pick my favorite people. Yeah, Lisa, thank you so much for that. She says there's drama in fact. I like that you report facts. I try to, but I also like giving my opinion. So I just have to be careful of the potholes when I give my opinion and make sure that if it's a pothole, at least it's a shallow pothole, so I don't blow out my tire again, because that sucks. But I try very hard to report facts, and I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get something wrong. I used to have a whole team. I used to have 13 people that helped me with What's Been Makeup, and now I'm doing it by myself. So I make a lot more mistakes now than I did when I had a whole team of people helping me. I try really hard not to. It's never my intention to make a mistake, but every once in a while it does happen. Like where I said that what's his name from Estee Lauder got fired. I got a comment that they were like, he didn't get fired. He was asked to resign. And I was like, you're absolutely right. He did not get fired. He was asked to resign. So I put a pin post and I changed the title because I don't want to be inaccurate, you know? Oh, here we go. Michelle says, it seems so disingenuous to sponsor a birth or pregnancy. It's like cheapening the event. Thank you so much for explaining that to me. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Thank you for explaining that. And that it can feel contrived. Thank you. Interesting. Girly Girl says, I think a lot of people mistake being polite, having manners, and being respectful as being PC or woke. It's like, I'm just trying to not be rude. But I think everybody should be considerate of other people's feelings. You know, like I think you make a really good point there. Instead of you or other influencers just not wanting to be an a-hole. I'm trying not to cause kids, people are watching around their kids. Yeah, I mean, and I think that our society is so divided right now. And I think some people, they support each other in their meanness. They support each other in hurting other people on purpose because they're the other. They're the not us. And it ends up getting really, really mean. So I think you make a really good point there. Thank you for that. This is an interesting perspective. Diamond in My Eye says, I don't care about which videos are sponsored at all unless it's taking advantage of others' misfortune, like making a Ukraine video sponsored, for example, unless it was like for charity or something, unless you were like doing sponsorship and giving all the money for charity. I think that's a really good point. Thank you for that. Skincare Concierge says it's not that. I think it's just hard for viewers to understand why we have sponsored content. They forget that we're trying to make a living. Yeah. And, you know, I think that especially in the beauty space, it's hard. Like I noticed in the gaming space, from what I've seen, you know, having Patreons and, you know, on Twitch, having people giving money and, you know, doing sponsored content, all of that, that was accepted so much quicker in that space than it was in the beauty space. And I think it's because that's a very male dominated space, where the beauty space is more female dominated. And I feel like whenever females are trying to make money. We're supposed to be just doing it out of the goodness of our hearts. I saw that in the teaching profession. And it's weird to me. And I think that it comes down to the stereotypes of when men make money, they're bosses, and when women make money, we're being selfish or whatever. It's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I mean, sponsored content is a big deal, and it's important to being able to do this as a job. And I didn't realize how much until I stopped, teaching and started doing this full time, how important sponsored content was to be able to continue to do this for a living. And I love this job. This is the best job I've ever had. And I want to keep doing it for a long time. And the way to do that is to do sponsored content. And I think that but I do think it's really important. And I've told brands this recently, is that I think it's really important that I am only doing sponsored content for things I truly like and truly believe in. I just turned a brand down because they were very hesitant to send me the product ahead of time in order to test it before I agreed to the sponsored video. And I said, well, I'm not going to do that. I will not agree to a sponsored video until I've tried the product and know that I like it enough. And they were very hesitant. So I said, well, I wish you well in finding somebody else, because this is not going to work for me. And yeah, I will not do that. I think that it is important when we choose sponsored content that we're choosing brands we truly believe in. Because then that can lead to feeling like an influencer is being dishonest. So yeah, like I've had games, like this one game company keeps reaching out to me trying to get me to do game ads. The last one was for like one of those slot machine games. I was like, I don't do that. I don't play slot machine games. I don't like slot machine games. I feel like they are feeding off of people with gambling addictions. And they're just not something I want to promote on my channel. It's a personal choice. I don't want to promote a slot machine game. It did break my heart to let that money go. I will tell you, it was like, but if they want, what my game I'm playing right now that I would do a sponsor video. Oh my gosh, we're out of time, like way out of time. What's the game I've been playing? Okay, so I've been playing with my kids, Cookie Run Kingdom. I would do a sponsor video for Cookie Run Kingdom. There's a game called Happy Clinic, which is such a stupid name for a game. You're like running a hospital, and you have to like give water or like scissors or ointment or whatever. And it's like one of those games where you have to go really fast, or else like the patients like leave. They don't die. They leave if you don't get to them fast enough. You have like a waiting room and all that. I would do that. I like those kinds of games. So I would do sponsor videos for those because I genuinely love them. But don't give me a slot machine game. Don't give me a killing zombies game. It's not going to work. That's going to be an absolutely not. But I hope you all enjoyed chat today. There's so many other things I feel like that we could talk about, and I cannot wait to go back and read the things that you have been saying in chat. I just realized I never clicked off the skincare concierge. There we go. I can't wait to go back and read, because I know there are some things that I didn't see that I wish I had seen in chat. So I'm going to go back and read as I watch on the replay. I'm going to end on this because I love this, Helen. Don't worry, Jen. We all hit potholes. I think we do. And I think that that's the message I want to leave this with, is that we do all hit potholes. We all do things that we regret. We all make choices. We go, damn, that was not a good choice. So I think, when we see someone that we thought was perfect and we see them hit a pothole, sometimes that can be a deal breaker, and that's fine. But I think we also need to understand that we are all human, and we all hit our own potholes along the way. And if you care enough about that person, maybe showing them some support and saying, hey, like, I see you just hit a pothole. That pothole sucks. Like, yes, you messed up, but I still know that you're a good person, even though you hit the pothole, instead of, piling on. At least that's the path that I'm going on. You choose whatever path you want to go on, but that's the path I'm choosing to go on. So thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. This chat went by way too fast. And we're going to go out to celebratory dinner, I think, with the fam, because John won his volleyball game. So should be fun, because I think he gets to pick, and he doesn't always pick my favorite restaurants. So We will see what happens. But mad love to you. Thanks for being here. Have a great week. And I will see you in a video very, very soon. 21 Days of Beauty coming up on Friday. 21 Days of Beauty recommendations. See you then. Mad love. Bye.